Come on down, Peter and Carol. Come on now. Pastor Peter and Carol Solomon from Port Moresby, Papua New Guinea. Just great friends of ours. Come on, man. I haven't seen you since you got down. Here's Carol. This is one of the greatest women in the world. She looks after this man. She keeps him, straightens him out, just like Ann does me. Yes. Peter, it is wonderful to have you here. Your second home. And the Australian part of your family, we welcome you both. We tell you that you are just so welcome. Everybody from Papua New Guinea that's down for conference, would you stand to your feet, please? Because we'd like to welcome you tonight. Stand up, PNG. Mighty PNG. Brave for PNG. We honor you and we appreciate you. We're just glad that you're here. Pastor Peter, why don't you thank you? You can be seated, folks, back there. Peter, bring a greeting from Papua New Guinea.
Thank you. There's something God showed me this tonight while we were worshiping. While Phil was singing the song, Take Me Past the Outer Gates into the Holy of Holies, and he was singing this, Take me deeper, take me deeper. God showed me this ocean. And in Australia, you have beautiful beaches, but you don't have trees growing over the sea. We have a lot of them in New Guinea. So the Lord showed me these trees growing over into the sea, and God showed me these eagles sitting up on the branches of the trees looking down into the sea. What they normally do is they wait for fish. They'd swim too close to the surface so that they can just snap them out. When Phil was singing the song, Take Me Deeper, the Lord just reminded me tonight, those that are snapped out of the water by eagles are those who swim too close to the surface. God wants us to go deeper. God wants us to get serious with God. Some of us are playing around with our lives. It's about time we make a stand before God. If you don't want to be snapped out by the enemy, you've got to go deep. The fish that swim deep in the ocean, they are always safe. Those that are snapped out by eagles or by anything are those who swim too close to the surface. And that's a warning to every one of us. Thank you.
Pastor Peter Solomon is one of the great church pioneers of the South Pacific. And Pastor Micah is in Fiji. But Pastor Peter and Carol Solomon have birthed churches in remote places in Papua New Guinea, all over the place. I'm looking forward to sitting down and having a conversation with you, Pastor Peter. Darrell told me about, well, he used to rave about what a wonderful man you are. He just raved about you non-stop, really. So, I'm glad you weren't there because you would have got a swelled head. And all the work you do and the high regard that people hold you in, all through that nation. And shortly, we're going to, Peter doesn't know this now, but he'll hear it now, and nor does Micah. But we're going to buy a 20-foot container. We're going to put it down there where it's a bit visible. Just, we haven't got many temporary buildings here, so 20-foot container. But I want it to look out of place, so it hits everybody in the eye. We're going to build 10 village churches in Papua New Guinea. We'll get the iron to build them, and we'll put it all in that container, and we'll all raise it here. It's about 50 sheets of iron to build a church, isn't it, Pastor Peter? I don't know how much a sheet of iron is. Tell me. Shout it out. It's about $150. 150 Australian dollars? One sheet of iron? How much could you buy a sheet of iron for? Not that much, no. I think we'll buy a lot less than that. But anyhow, then we have to buy the container and we have to freight it over there. But we'll have 10 churches in that container. Plus, we'll fill it up then with clothes and Don't bring them in yet. We have nowhere to store anything here. We have knocked every room out of this church. So people are seating in it. So when I announce, then we can bring them in and put them in the container. If you bring them in now, they're a pain in the neck. And we're going to send that over to Papua New Guinea. And then that container will become a house for a pastor. And we'll send an air conditioner over with it. Thank you so much. And we'd like to send one to Fiji too. We want to build a church for Pastor Micah in Suva, a headquarter church for worship centre over there. There's 2 blocks of ground he's looking at. And Daryl was telling me, Daryl saw them while he was over in Fiji. And we'll most likely buy them. Last year, this church gave $80,000 to missions. And in my heart, I'd love it if we could give $100,000 this year for missions in the next 12 months. It'd be wonderful, wouldn't it? Just wonderful. We're still going to build our own church. But give and you shall receive. And it's a wonderful thing to sow some seeds in the ground, because we've got an impossible task here. We don't have any money to build our church. So what a wonderful thing if we build 10 churches in PNG and about 5 or 6 in Fiji and a main one in Suva. That's good seed, isn't it? Yes. Then I'm just going to ask people to buy a sheet of tin. And we'll put a tin roof up in some of those remote village areas where people really don't have an economy. And to buy a sheet of tin is an impossibility. But we can buy a sheet of tin. And 10 churches, only 500 sheets of tin. And then we'll buy a bit of other stuff to go with it. Might put a heap of concrete in there or something, or I don't know what we'll do. But isn't that exciting? We might never see these precious people on earth, but we will see them in heaven. And they'll be able to tell us about the church that you built, that they worshipped in heaven. And I think it'll be fun. We'll dedicate that container. And by faith, we'll see 10 churches in that container. Mind you, by the time we get going, they might build 20. You never can tell. Who knows what we can do if we really get going. You and I can do anything. There's nothing that's impossible. We're going to build a great church in Suva too. And I'm looking forward to some of you guys going over there and whacking that thing up. That'll be fun. And, might even send a team up around Papua New Guinea and build some village churches. Who knows? Who knows what we can do? All things are possible. If there's a dream in your heart. And Brother Peter, just come down here, mate. Quick, come on down. Peter, I just wanted you to come down because I wanted to stand beside you and put my arm around you and tell you that I love you.
Thank you.
And tell you that all these people here love you too. I also want to tell you that when you're up there in Papua New Guinea and we're down here, that we don't forget about you. Nor do we forget about Micah and all the team over there. What does it mean to a village to get a tin roof on their church?
It means very, very much. We normally use bush materials to put as a roof on the house, but all the leaves that we normally use is disappearing right now. For you to put up a roofing iron over a village church, it means a lot to anybody in the village.
What does it mean?
Well, I mean,
what does it mean so an Australian can understand what that means?
Well, I don't know how to put it. Daryl was there. So, I mean, Daryl saw everything that took place. I took him to all the villages. And it means a lot. We depend on things that grow on the ground. Those things are disappearing right now. So when we put up a roofing iron, I mean, you save the entire village or entire people. You bless them in a big way. Right now, as I'm talking to you, I have about 100 churches. Pastors want me to build their churches right now. Because in Papua New Guinea, the churches are popping up like mushrooms. That's true. That's true. See, I was away in KVN, for those that have been up in New Guinea. I was away in KVN for 2 weeks. I was just out there spying out the land. I've never been to the place. I came back, then I had to fly to Medellin. I went to Medellin, got 3 churches started. And then, apart from the 3, there are about 15 pastors that want me to build their church. So when Papa Clark is talking about those roofing iron, you are sowing into good soil.
One last question. Do you like Papua New Guinea?
Well, that's my country.
Bless you, Jesus.